Talking about fall, I think we're getting excited. Every time the seasons change, it's always exciting. You know, eventually you get bored of a season. It's kind of, I think that's why there are 4 seasons. I don't know. So what was it we were talking about the other day? Oh, we were talking about the open enrollment for Medicare. It began already 5 days ago. It's a short time frame. It's a short window, right?
Yes.
It wraps up December 7th. So if you've done this, if you know what you're doing, good for you. What I know about this, and as a radio host, I know that we get phone calls all the time asking, can you please answer this question about the open enrollment, or get an expert on the air to talk about it? And so that's what we've done. Jeff Fernandez is on the phone. He is the segment vice president of Medicare for Humana, and he's going to talk to us about the open enrollment of Medicare. It began 5 days ago. It'll wrap up, as I said already, December 7th. And not only is the time frame important, but choosing the right Medicare plan is important. So those two things are the topic. Jeff Fernandez. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, how are you, Larry? Nice to be with you.
Nice. Nice day. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Chicago today.
How's the weather up there?
It's nice.
It's getting cold?
Cool. It's getting cool, yeah.
You know, they say you're going to have a warmer winter than normal, and we're going to have a cooler winter than normal. So I think the whole country is evening out or something. I'm not so sure.
As long as there's not another polar vortex, I think we'll all be good, right?
So tell me about this. I mean, we get the calls all the time, and to be honest with you, what we need to do is just direct people somewhere else, because we really don't know the answers to the questions about Medicare open enrollment.
Right. Well, you hit the key factor that your listeners need to know, and that is we are in the middle of the annual enrollment period that began on October 15th and ends on December 7th for the January 1 effective date of 16. So yes, you are right. They need to make their decision in that window, and that window only, for their benefits for next year. Okay.
And do let's see. How do you ask this question? If you go to your insurance provider, would they be able to answer the questions, or do they have self-interest? I don't mean to be cynical, but
true.
But I'm just wondering about that.
Yeah, so we have a couple options for you. Of course, you can go to Medicare.gov, which is the Medicare, the federal government website that gives you a comparison of all the plans, not just the Humana ones, but all the ones that are offered in the city in which you live, that you can compare. And, oh, by the way, you can get the star ratings on there. You can get the expected cost by plan, for the co-pays or the drugs. If you wanted Humana-specific information, you can go to humana.com/Medicare if you wanted specific Humana plans in your area. But the Medicare.gov will give you all the plans. So if you want to get a good view of the marketplace and what's out there, that would be a good resource.
And help clarify this for me. Is it for 65 and older only, or are there some exceptions to that?
Well, you can actually qualify for Medicare if you're disabled. So you can actually be younger than 65 and still get Medicare. But of course, obviously, after you turn 65, you're automatically eligible for the Medicare program.
So if a person's on Medicaid and they're disabled, will they be able to drop the Medicaid portion and get on Medicare, or does that work in conjunction with?
No, it works in conjunction with. Those are folks that are called dual eligible. You're dually eligible for Medicaid and Medicare, and you can still sign up for the program. And depending on what city you live in, we have some programs for dual eligibles, plans specific to the dual eligible population. So it just depends on what city you live in.
Does it satisfy the Affordable Care Act mandate?
Well, the Medicare Advantage is really separate and apart from the Affordable Care Act, because the Affordable Care Act, remember, talks about the exchanges, the commercially insured, really for folks younger than 65. Medicare Advantage is a separate program that was in effect way before the Affordable Care Act was even passed. So it's really two separate programs.
Okay, but what I mean, maybe I didn't ask it right, or maybe you answered it and I just didn't understand it. When the mandate says you must have health insurance, otherwise you pay a penalty, right?
Yes.
Right.
Does Medicare satisfy that mandate?
Yes, in fact, the Medicare Advantage program has really operated that way since the beginning, because with Medicare Advantage, it's a guaranteed issue. It doesn't matter what pre-existing conditions you have anyway. You just enroll in the plan and you get coverage. So yes, it does.
Okay.
And who is the primary if a person does have insurance and Medicare at the same time?
Is what primary?
Which if a person were to go for an operation in the hospital, and then here come the bills, do the bills go to Medicare first and then the insurance company, or vice versa?
No, when you have a Medicare Advantage product, that is your insurance. So all the bills would come to Humana in that example that you gave. So whether it be for the doctor, the hospital, your drugs, when you have that was the one-stop shopping I mentioned earlier. You don't have to deal with any of that. Where does the bill go, this, that, or the other? When you present that Humana card, that provider knows where to send the bill, and basically you just get one EOB back that says, here is your copay for that service that you received.
There are two groups of people in my mind. There are those who are new to this and they'll be doing it for the first time. Maybe they just turned 65, or those who've been part of this plan already and they're going to re-sign up. I'm guessing both groups will get their questions answered, but I'm wondering, like, the person who feels satisfied about what they have, let's say there's somebody who's 70 or so they're satisfied with what they have. Should they still get some advice from their doctors? They'll say, well, you know, you're starting to develop a tumor, or starting to develop, I don't know. I mean, do the doctors give any direction as to which plans to pick?
Typically, the doctors will tell you what plans they participate in, but that's really the limit of that. But I would tell you, if you're satisfied with your plan, of course they can stay in the plan they're in. They don't have to make any change. But there are really 5 factors, and even if they're satisfied, I still say you should review it, because your needs change as you age, right? So you want to make sure that your plan is staying up with your needs. So there are really 5 things I tell people to look for. One is the premium, right? How much is the monthly cost? Especially if you're a senior on fixed income, that matters.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're looking at that monthly premium. 2 are the benefits. How much is that doctor copay for my primary care physician? How much are those prescription drug benefits, the copays, the different tiers? The third thing is the network. What hospitals are in the network? Is my doctor in the network? You got to ask these questions, because these things change sometimes from one year to the next. You want to make sure that you're staying up to date with what plan you have. The fourth thing is the star rating. We're ranked on a 1 through 5 star basis by the Medicare agency, the federal government, and you can actually get that information on that Medicare.gov website. And the star rating is really a representation of how satisfied our members are with the plan. There's a satisfaction survey as part of it, and also how good the quality of care is with that plan. So, are the members in the Humana plan getting their cholesterol under control, for example? So really important. And the 5th thing is word of mouth. Ask your family and friends, hey, are you satisfied with your plan?
Jeff, thank you for being on the air. Before we leave, we got about 40 seconds. Could you run through the websites again?
Sure. Medicare.gov and humana.com/Medicare.
Okay. 2 good, useful websites. We'll write them down. Robin will post them, by the way, on Facebook. This interview, in fact, will be on Facebook as on YouTube channel as well. Jeff, thank you for being on the air. Keep up the good work and stay warm this winter. Come down to Florida.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll be right back.